YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy David from NBA Knowledge, and today we are going to talk about some trade scenarios that I could see happening next off season. But before we get started, if you enjoy what you see from this channel, hit that subscribe button and that bell for post notifications, and also drop a like if you like this video and comment your opinions down below. If you disagree with any of the trades that I request and also any of the trades that I left off, if you have any, let me know down below in the comment section. But without further ado, let's talk about the first player and team, and it is the Dallas Mavericks trading for Rudy Gobert. Dallas currently holds the league's top offensive rating in the league, but they are only 17th in defensive rating according to Basketball Reference. And if the playoffs expose Mavericks defense and dampen the team's future title hopes, trading for a defensive star might just be the best move this offseason. Gobert, who's the reigning two-time Defensive Player of the Year, could be the piece that the Dallas Mavericks need to ascend into that championship level. Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis, for as talented as offensive players as they are, they're not elite defenders. Gobert would mask a lot of their defensive deficiencies while also improving the team's rebounding, though he wouldn't be a flashy pickup when it comes to the offensive side, but defensively his contributions would definitely be worth it and are very valuable towards this team's success. And teams would struggle mightily to finish at the basket with Gobert and Porzingis defending the rim. More than likely, Dallas would have to throw in a first-round pick and probably some players like Seth Curry, Dwight Powell, Maxi Kleber, Delon Wright, Justin Jackson, just to name a few. Especially if the Jazz want to move in a more offensively focused direction, because I assume that would be the direction they want to go in if they do trade Gobert in the first place, because that's what you're giving up. But the next player that we have and team that we have is the Portland Trail Blazers trading for Kevin Love. This rumor has been out there for so long. Kevin Love has one of the most least team-friendly contracts in the NBA. He's owed around $300 million per year until 2023 and hasn't played more than 60 games in any of the last 4 seasons. Love is just collecting a check on a horrible Cavaliers team with no future whatsoever. But Portland is a team with a superstar in Damian Lillard, who has a really solid second option in CJ McCollum, and with the way Carmelo Anthony is playing, he's doing really solid for them, and Gary Trent Jr. has been really good for them in the bubble. Getting Kevin Love would essentially be all in on an offensive scheme that will definitely hurt a lot of other teams' defenses and fatigue them, and maybe they could push some series to a little bit further than we thought. And I think also with Nurkic being back and no Whiteside on the books next year, they definitely will have some space to be able to bring in a guy like Kevin Love. And with this trade value being considerably low, Portland doesn't have to give up too much, so it definitely makes sense considering where both parties are at this current point in time. But the next trade that we have here is the New York Knicks getting Chris Paul. Now, honestly, I don't agree with this trade happening, but it is something that people should consider, especially considering the fact that Chris Paul's destiny is not in his own hands, that he is not going to be a free agent. So anything is possible, I guess. But Chris Paul has been nothing short of amazing this year for the Oklahoma City Thunder, turning a team that was an afterthought before the season even started into a playoff team in the Western Conference. But for as great as he's been, he's 35 years old and isn't a part of the Oklahoma City Thunder's future more than likely. And he's owed about $85 million over the next 2 seasons, making him a difficult player to trade because as good as he's been playing, he's not a superstar. I think we all know that. And the Knicks are one of the only teams with the cap space to trade for Chris Paul while also needing his services on and off the court. New York hasn't had a stable point guard in this millennium and could use a strong veteran leader to help develop their young star in RJ Barrett. Chris Paul is definitely the man for the job because we saw what he did with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander this season, so maybe he can kind of implement some of those character traits into RJ Barrett. New York can offer 1 or more second-round picks, as well as a combination of Kevin Knox, Frank Ntilikina, Dennis Smith Jr., Elfrid Payton, and Bobby Portis. And honestly, I could definitely see this trade happening, but yeah, I just don't think it's going to happen because New York is allergic to any type of positivity touching their city. But let's move on to the next player. We have Bradley Beal going to the Brooklyn Nets. Bradley Beal improved his scoring average to over 30 points per game this season on a terrible Wizards team that's just desperately waiting for John Wall to return. ever since his Achilles injury. Bradley Beal said that he wanted to remain in Washington for now, but John Wall's health in the offseason could definitely alter his points of view. If he decides to play for a winner, Brooklyn is definitely in discussion, and we've heard a lot of rumors about it. The Nets have a whole bunch of assets to trade for Bradley Beal. Brooklyn holds 3 2020 first-round picks and a plethora of future second-round picks, as well as an up-and-coming players such as Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie, Jared Allen, and Taurean Prince, who have some pretty team-friendly deals. The Wizards should definitely consider a trade because as good as they think that John Wall and Bradley Beal are together, they're just not good enough to win a championship. And considering all the money that they owe to John Wall and then add in Bradley Beal's contract in the mix, yeah, that's too much money to be paying for players that realistically are only going to get you to like what, an 8th or 6th seed, which will most likely result in y'all being eliminated from the first round. I just don't think it's worth it whatsoever. So a trade to Brooklyn definitely makes sense. Next player that we have here is Zach LaVine. Unfortunately, I am a Bulls fan, so this may sting, but there have been a lot of rumors of him going to the Los Angeles Lakers. LaVine's recent comments about being tired of losing made it clear that he may want it out of Chicago. The team isn't trending towards contention, even as LaVine has shown immense improvement as a volume scorer, so a lot of people think he deserves to play for a team that's ready to utilize his talents in the postseason. The Lakers are a perfect landing spot for Zach LaVine. LeBron and Anthony Davis, for as great as they are together, could use another perimeter threat and a consistent third option. LaVine's combination of off-the-dribble scoring and shooting ability make him a fantastic complement to LeBron and Anthony Davis, and they could definitely create a new Lakers dynasty. Los Angeles could give the Chicago Bulls a first-round pick, Kyle Kuzma, Danny Green, for Zach LaVine. It could include any combination of players, maybe Avery Bradley, Alex Caruso, Quinn Cook, and maybe even another pick if needed. And because LaVine only makes $19.5 million a year, the Lakers would still have cap room to spare after that transaction. LaVine is relatively cheap and attainable for the Los Angeles Lakers to pursue this offseason. The team needs to win now with LeBron's championship window closing, with him getting older in age, but when it comes down to this decision, it really comes to Rob Pelinka and what he wants to do. But the next and final trade that we have here is the Golden State Warriors trading for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, I know a lot of people don't want to think about this, especially Rockets fans, but the Warriors are one of the only teams with the assets to realistically trade for Giannis. The Milwaukee Bucks superstar Giannis Antetokounmpo said he had no plans to leave for another organization as of now, but another shortcoming in the playoffs could definitely change his mind. The Bucks are a well-built team. It fit perfectly, but they lack the star power of some of the other teams in the NBA. Giannis may want to leave for a bigger market or at least a franchise that can attract free agents and can win some championships, and Golden State fits that bill perfectly. The Warriors have several players with solid trade value and a likely top 3 pick in the 2020 draft, and considering the other players that they have on the team that they could trade, such as Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, Aris Pascal, Jordan Poole, Marquise Chris, Kevon Looney, I mean, the list just goes on other than Clay and Steph. The price for Giannis would perhaps be more than any other player in NBA history, but Golden State Warriors, they're in the position to do what they gotta do to keep their dynasty going, and a big 3 of Giannis, Curry, and Clay would usher in a whole other dynasty for the Golden State Warriors. The trio complements each other perfectly and is a matchup nightmare for almost any opponent, regardless of whom the Warriors place around them. If this trade somehow happens, Giannis could not only win his first finals, but possibly sign a max extension there as well. This dynasty looks like it's never going to end, especially if they get a player like Giannis. The Warriors may just be good until I have grandkids at this rate. But that concludes this video. If you enjoyed this kind of content, let me know in the comment section. And if you think I left any trades out, let me know there as well. Hit that like button and subscribe if you like what you see from this channel, and hit the bell for post notifications. This is your boy David from NBA Knowledge signing out. Y'all make sure y'all stay safe. The world's getting crazy out there. And please, for the love of God, wear a mask. I'm out. Peace.